Thanks for checking out the Disaster Dog podcast, where we talk all things canine, urban search and rescue. The views and expressions are opinions of the hosts and guests and do not represent those of any government agency that we work for or contract work to. We're just a couple idiots with microphones.
Welcome back to another episode of Disaster Dog Podcast, where we discuss everything canine related to urban search and rescue. I'm one of your co-hosts, Rami El-Sharif, in studio with my teammate and co-host, Mike Vitale. This episode's guest is Macy Hunsicker of Virginia Task Force 1, USA 1. Mike, start off with you, man. How's the weather going for you today?
Oh, it's great. Snow's great. Cold's great.
What was it, 10 inches?
Yep.
Something like that, 12 inches. Mm-hmm. Macy, thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, thanks for driving in. How long was your drive in?
About 14 hours.
14 hours. And you stayed overnight in Pennsylvania?
Somewhere. Yeah.
Somewhere in Pennsylvania?
Somewhere in Pennsylvania.
Awesome. Well, hey, Macy didn't just drive in for this.
Yeah, Macy, why did you come to Chicago?
Yeah, why did you come to Chicago?
I was bringing a dog to Rami.
Yes. So for all our listeners, finally stepped on the grenade and got a HR dog. It's a 8-month-old big difference. 8-month-old started black lab, half brothers to my current live Find Zool, and bred by Jennifer Brown of Florida 2. She was in episode 2. Fantastic guest. Shout out Jen Brown. So yeah, we'll see what that little monster brings. So, but thank you. Appreciate you driving him up for me.
Thanks for coming. Also, we're in a new studio. We're going to try some video today.
Yeah, trying video for the first time. So this will be new. So
thanks to Fabian and the Dog Tribe.
Dog Tribe Found Training Center, Chicago, Illinois. All of our teammates basically have come here to fix some problem that we've done to screw up our dogs. So
continue.
Yeah. So thank you, Fabian. We appreciate it. Appreciate the space. Yes. So Macy, let's kind of get into a rapid fire, I'd say. We want to know who are you?
I don't know you.
Yeah, I just met you today. So you showed up at my house with a dog. Are you? So what do you do for work?
Who are you?
Yeah, who are you? Tell us about yourself. Where'd you come from? Life experiences, growing up, jobs, careers, stuff like that.
Okay, so I was born and raised in Michigan.
Okay.
Spent the first 20 years of my life training dogs and horses. And
common theme here.
Yeah. And I enlisted in the Navy on 9/12/2001.
Wow.
And it kind of, changed the course of my life. And I moved down to Hampton Roads, Virginia to start my naval career and met my husband. I did intel in the Navy and then moved to DC as a civilian with the Department of Homeland Security. And I recently retired from the Department of Homeland Security after almost 20 years in the intelligence community. So I decided that, I had taken a huge detour with my life plan after 9/11. And it was time to kind of get back to what I really wanted to do, which was, train animals, be outside. And I love USAR. And so I'm training puppies, starting puppies, and it's been fun.
So on paper, you're retired.
On paper, I'm retired. I took an early retirement, so I can't collect yet.
Yeah.
So, but yes.
Okay.
What did you do in the Navy?
Intel.
What does that mean?
So I was an intelligence analyst, and it's not as exciting as it seems. I was an open source analyst, and so right after 9/11, that was kind of a newer career field. We were really looking at what was available on the internet. We weren't covert.
It
wasn't really secret. We were overt. Everybody knew what we were doing, but just as you remember even now, but especially early on in the global war on terror, there was just a lot of stuff posted online, a lot of people making threats, and got my career started and like I said, then moved over to DHS. And
did you went to basic with the Navy?
Great Lakes in
That's
January.
Right. That's right.
Yes,
Yeah.
with the delayed entry program, even though I enlisted by the time they classed up for my Intel class, it was like January 11th or something. I forget, maybe it was the 13th, but it was middle of January. Worst decision because I hated cold weather. I spent my entire boot camp shoveling snow and swore I'd never go back.
Here we are.
Yeah. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
Yeah. But I mean, you
snow.
grew up in Michigan, right? So what part of Michigan, I mean, you had to have snow and cold.
Yes, and that's why I used to spend winters in Florida, in Wellington, like showing horses. And my plan was to never have another Michigan winter. But I even spent 2015 to 2020 assigned here with the federal government. So I came back, did 5 years, remembered why I left, and next time I'll come visit you when it's warmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's a good plan.
yeah, we'll be able to use the pile then.
So about 20 years with the Navy and DHS.
Yeah,
Right.
Cool.
And you were all based out of the East Coast.
correct.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you took an early buyout. What was that? Was the decision was because of dogs or just?
So I didn't take the buyout. I just decided that it was time, and I had enough years. I just didn't have the age, and I think the minimum retirement for an early buyout was 50, and I couldn't touch that. But it was just time for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, we understand. I mean, we've both been in the fire service for, I'm in my 18th year. Mike's in his 17th year. And neither of us will have age at 20 years is when we can retire. And it's just like, well, 20 years it's a grind.
time.
It's a grind. So hats off to anybody that does longer. But, we get that sometimes it just might be time. So,
Yeah. 20 years is a lot.
Cool.
30 years is longer.
So horses and dogs were kind of your thing growing up, and now you're in retirement, and you're obviously a handler with Virginia One. Outside of starting dogs, we'll get to that, but what other things you got going on in life? Family, hobbies, activities?
Husband, he in the military as well?
Yes, my husband and I met in Intel A school down at Dam Neck. And our oldest son is actually in the Navy as well. And our youngest is a junior. So obviously, a lot of my life revolves around that part of it. But seriously, I'm really just doing SAR and puppies,
It keeps you busy, I'm sure.
I'm taking the opportunity to just get involved more with my team and do some of the things I didn't have time to do before as a civilian. And, travel a lot, go to a bunch of different piles, take a bunch of classes and just learn as much as I can, do as much as I can.
Sure.
And I've been kind of spoiled this year.
Yeah. You've had a pretty, busy year, it seems like.
With the 2 dogs from Jen.
Well, yeah, one from Jen Brown, right?
One from Jen.
And then
I have 3 puppies. 4 now, but yeah, I started with the summer with 3 puppies. I retired, got 3 puppies, 1 from Jen, and
All at the same time?
All at the same time.
Yeah, that's all.
And then I had my own HR dog I was certifying, and I just certified him in September, and then cranked it up on the puppies. Got a 4th dog, and
Yeah, so you're busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does your routine look like with your puppies in the morning?
So the good thing is
Coffee first or let the dogs out first?
So because they're puppies, they go out first, and Rami will tell you like his puppy makes sure that coffee is secondary.
Oh, great.
He's a very good puppy, but you can set a clock by when he needs to eat. So it really, my week is very different based on training days. Again, because I'm spoiled right now, I get to go to our training site a lot. As a civilian, I was stuck with weekends. So if I'm going to the training site, it's going to look completely different. But in general, on your average day, it's like 4:30 or 5, I'm up. And that's Eastern time. So your dog moving to Central time is going to be fun. So anyway, I get up, the dogs all go out. And then if we're not going to training, then they'll either all go out, like if it's summer and I've got some daylight or some heat I'm working around, we go hike. I really believe all dogs need to get out and hike off leash. I think mentally it is the best thing you can do for your dog. Physically, for fitness wise, but everybody goes off on an off-leash hike as soon as they possibly can. I have 2 groups. Obviously, the puppies can't go for the distance and the speed. So 4 dogs go out, and then the puppy group goes out. But I have to time their feed. So if it's hot in the summer, we hike first. If like this time of year, I'm almost about the cold. So I feed them really early and then let them digest. I'll usually then do like my coffee, my devotionals, and my, everything from check social media. I'm taking some online classes. I try and do that in the morning, housework, whatever, get my son on the bus. And then the dogs have digested. And so usually like around 7, this time of year, we go hike or we go to train. And I try to have everybody through their first set of either training or exercise in time for a second cup of coffee mid-morning. And it's really all about the dogs. And I don't have anything else really interesting going on.
So dogs is primary, then you get your kid on the bus secondary.
Well, he's 17, so
Okay.
Yeah,
if he was 5, it would be primary. On it.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I was still having to like help him through his morning routine, we'd have problems.
Yeah. Where exactly do you live?
I live in Northern Virginia, like in Dumfries. It's like near Quantico, kind of by our training site in Lorton. I'm very spoiled.
What's the topography? So you say you go on hikes, so is it like
Hilly.
level ground, hills,
We've got a lot of hills. I mean, it's
or just basically getting out and moving?
I mean, so like compared to Michigan, it's very hilly. I mean, it's at the base of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Like there's climbs. Like Michigan people think they know hills, but but like obviously Virginia
Ridge,
compared to other states, like people would say we don't know what a hill is. So it's all relative. We have thankfully some great parks. We live along the Potomac, so like I swim dogs in the Rappahannock. We have a lot of property and trails around there, and so we've got some hillier, some not as hilly, but it's just good to get the dogs out, like build that area search capability, build the fitness, but mentally there's nothing like it for the dog to get to go out and make choices, sniff, learn to operate as a pack. All my dogs get along very well. They're very social and confident, and I think that has a lot to do with it.
That's great.
Cool.
How many dogs do you have currently? Like
So,
actually your dogs?
I personally own 4.
And names, ages, details?
So I have 2 labs, one Belgian Malinois and one Belgian Malinois Dutchie cross. The Dutchie and my Old English lab, I was doing wilderness with them before I did USAR. Neither one of them wanted to be USAR dogs. And so now they're just my pets. And kind of like our family dogs. And then I have Frenzy. She's a 3-year-old certified live find dog that I got from Jen Brown. And Indy, he's
Frenzy with a P?
Yes, Frenzy, PH. PH. Yeah.
Right.
And then Indy, I got from Ivan Belbanov down in Tampa. And he's my HRD dog. And he's 18 months.
So freshly certified.
Yeah, new certification.
September, yeah.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How was that?
Well,
Or where was that?
California. We went to Cal 3.
The most recent one?
The Cal 3 in September, yeah.
September.
Yeah. I thought it was a great test. The people there, I also did most of my evaluator shadowing down there. And I learned so much. It was just a fantastic place to learn and test. So highly recommend it.
Cal 3 is that Riverside? I get them all confused.
You know it all now, Rami. Don't pretend like you don't know where.
No, I can't keep them all straight.
Yeah, I was there and I can tell you what it looked like, but I know.
Southern California.
Yes,
Got it.
somewhere.
I don't know. Sorry, California. Apologize.
It was a great test.
Good. That's awesome. We'll kind of wrap up this rapid fire and we'll get more into your dogs and certifications and stuff.
Last question on the rapid fire.
Last question.
If you could time travel, what era would you travel to and why?
The Civil War.
Interesting.
So growing up, my grandparents owned this old Victorian house, bed and breakfast, that had tunnels to the Victorian house on the other side of the highway. And just like the stories and the mystery around it and just, kind of, the fact that these people were smuggling people into Canada. It was just, growing up in nowhere, Michigan, it was probably the most exciting thing I could picture. And so, I think it would be a Civil War.
And then moving to Virginia, there's a lot more.
We have a ton of battlefields in history.
Battlefields.
Yeah. And you can just kind of feel it. And I think it would have been a very interesting time.
All right.
Cool.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
Cool.
So your current dog, focusing, you have Frenzy and PH, live find, 3.5 years old, something like that?
Yeah, she'll be 4 in April.
Okay. And she's from Jen Brown. And then you have Indy, who is your young male that you recently just certified.
Correct.
Let's talk about Frenzy, because that was your first dog that you certified with.
Second dog that I certified with, but she's the first one I owned.
Right. Okay. So is that you certified with someone else from your team's dog?
Correct.
Talk to us about that.
Yeah.
So
we don't do that, but we're finding that a lot of other people do that.
So I think, I don't know how much it happened prior to when I joined the team, but since it's become kind of a big or more frequently done thing.
Rite
and
of
I
passage?
think, no, it's honestly so that you can learn. It helps when it comes to, I think you wash less dogs because you know what you're looking for. You get experience. It gives you time to basically learn and still deploy and do all the things while you're trying to find a dog. I don't know. I thought I appreciated the opportunity to be certified with another dog, and even just silly stuff like I was able to, start my shadow evaluation and become an evaluator faster. I was able to learn so much while I was finding and training my own dog. That I think is a great opportunity. I also think that, there's a lot of times you'll have a phase in your life where maybe you can't give your certified dog everything, and maybe you can't deploy, maybe due to family reasons, health reasons, or whatever, but your dog still wants to do something.
Still needs to work, yep.
And so it's good for the team. I think it makes your dog well-rounded. Frenzy is, I let a teammate certify with her last fall. And, if something were to happen to me, I know she'd still get to go out,
Yeah. That's interesting because I never even thought about that before we started talking with, Jen talked about it. Mm-hmm. And before that, I never even thought about it. So now it's, you're the second that has said.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's definitely positives to it, right?
Absolutely. And I think there's a bunch of people bunch of different groups and people in the system that are doing the same thing.
Yeah. Well, it gives you the experience, but also you're learning with a dog that also knows the job.
That's
right?
already put together, right?
Yeah, that's put together. That's gonna, you'll be like, oh, okay, you can take some of that when you get your own dog, right? And kind of put that towards what you learned with a dog that was already a little more polished and certified, so.
Was it for your certification, you just, here's a dog, go? Or was it let's work with this dog a couple weeks before, a couple months before, or how'd that look?
So I think it does vary. I mean, we have people that it's basically you're going to test in a couple weeks with this dog. Maybe something happened to their dog or whatever. In my case, I knew the dog pretty well because I was a wilderness handler before, and the dog was on the wilderness team as well. So I had hid for him. I had handled him. I knew him. We still, took a couple weeks before the test. I mean, I think I found out maybe 2 weeks before my test that I was testing with him. So it was a bit of a,
Here you go.
But it was good because he was a border collie, and I had never worked a border collie. I'd never, lived with border collies. Things like grooming, I wasn't prepared for how to comb out his hair.
Yeah.
I was like, well, you're more like a horse than a dog to me. It was so good to learn. But the best part was being able to take the test, the very first test with a dog that knew what it was doing. So I just had to focus on me and focus on learning how to do the test and getting in a rhythm.
That's
and then
points.
when I tested with Frenzy, it was this is nothing. I've been here. I've done it.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. And I think that was probably, the most helpful.
Do you think there could be any, I don't want to say issues, but if you haven't work, you have a kind of plug and play dog and you certify, but you didn't put in 6 months, 3 months handling the dog, would the team send you and like be operational, or would you kind of be on a backup? I'm just wondering, like, if you go in theater, if there would be any issues that you don't know the dog as well. Luckily, you knew that dog from wilderness. You know what I mean? If there anything that can pop up if you did deploy with that dog, or is it just kind of handler and dog dependent and really what the mission set is?
I think it's handler and dog dependent, because I thought about that a lot when I let one of our handlers certify in Frenzy. I kept thinking, what if she deploys and Frenzy won't like recall? Like what if she's too in, or whatever. And I'm sure a lot of the handlers that allow their dogs, but usually it's an older dog. Frenzy was unique. It's a dog that's kind of used to it. And I know on our team, we kind of take turns handling the other dogs. There's that expectation that when you're not searching, you're going to be doing something else in support of the team, and somebody's going to be kind of responsible for the dog. So everybody's got to be able to handle them. Everybody needs to know the dog. And so there's a little less of that. But to your point, our team leadership does take that into account. And there's so many other steps that they have to be able to be like rostered for deployment, that realistically they're probably not going to deploy. Like, I never deployed with the first dog I was certified with. It was more part of the learning process. And we went to exercises and like did those things. So
X's and all that.
Yeah. Now I do know another newer handler that did do like, I forget the hurricane before Milton and Helene, but again, that was a dog that was very, very experienced and, an older dog.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
Good perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like it. Maybe something to put in the back pocket.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not for every dog.
It's not for every dog.
It's definitely not for every dog.
It's not for every handler either.
For sure.
Taking your dog and, putting him with a newer handler would be
It's stressful.
Fun.
for us to watch.
For me to watch.
Yeah. But it wouldn't be ideal for the handler or the dog, right? So,
sure.
Making sure that there's that cohesiveness and being able to, identify on the team
which dog, which
handler, stuff like that. So awesome. So you have Frenzy. So Frenzy's your dog. Where'd you guys certify when you took your first CE?
Maryland.
Okay. What's the name of Maryland's pile?
It was at the Linthicum or the Sarah
Linthicum.
pile.
Okay.
The search and rescue assist.
I always get Linthicum and Lorden messed up.
Well, they're like an hour apart.
Okay.
So.
All right.
I don't know either of them.
They're out
gotta
east.
come.
They're out
They're
east.
awesome.
We'll take a road trip
In the summer.
in the summer. Yeah. when it's-
Don't come in the summer. It's too hot.
No, we like the warm weather.
Yeah. No, believe us, just because we live here doesn't mean we like the cold either.
Yeah.
And then talk to us about, because FEMA's pretty strict, I believe, about the 18-month rule thing. And you were able to certify pretty young, right?
So you can get a waiver.
A waiver. Okay. That's what. Yep.
Yeah. There's waivers for different things, right? And with my particular dog, like the testing schedule and his age, and it might not be as common like this year, but when I came on board and it was still like COVID rules, people were getting waivers for everything.
Sure. Yeah.
And then I was hearing there were all these dogs getting waivers for age or different things, and so it's like, well, I think you test the dog when they're ready, and also
When you feel they're ready, or your team feels they're ready.
all the above, like your team, your mentors, your vet. I mean, there's there were other Malinois growing up that they weren't physically mature yet. He matured very quickly physically. He never had the really leggy, look. Structurally, mentally, he matured more like a female. Like it was just one of those things that it was the right test for him. It was the right time for him. But I was trying to avoid hurricane season. I watched last year and even the year before, like people's tests get pushed back or messed up, and so I took the chance, and we had support all the way across.
That's awesome.
I wouldn't have done it.
Sure. That's awesome. Very cool. So going back a little bit to you growing up, you said you were kind of training dogs and horses growing up. What did that look like? So like, did you have a pet dog that you got really into dog training, back in the 90s, or how did it look? Or were you interning somewhere, or did you go work at a corporate chain? Like what was dog training for you growing up? And, how did that lead into where you are today?
So growing up, my parents bred and raised Labrador retrievers, and
For work or for show?
for hunting. And so my dad has a sporting goods store, and everything was about hunting growing up.
Does he still have a sporting goods?
Yes.
Where in Michigan?
Yep, Adrian.
Where's
Johnson
that at?
Sporting Goods. It's like in the middle of nowhere in Michigan.
Johnson Sporting Goods. Anyways, in Adrian.
Yep. So anyway,
Go check it out.
So we had Labrador retrievers, and the male, my mom wanted the male to be shown in obedience, and
I'm sure your dad was thrilled.
and she decided that it would be a good thing for me to do. And I was 9 years old, and he was a very high drive, intact male, and we got started originally with 4-H, and it was like this dog trainer donated obedience classes to, any kid that wanted to learn. And so like every Wednesday night we'd go and I learned how to, train them in obedience, which was a little rough because he was a lot of dog for me.
Sure.
But I learned a lot. And I think then I ended up showing some of his offspring and got into it there. And then horses were my thing. I always had dogs and had them as pets and wanted them, well trained with me or whatever. But then when I was going to Florida in the winter, it turned out people would be like, hey, I've got this like puppy from this good bloodline that's going to be at this horse show. I know you won't be back for 12 weeks, but can you raise it for me? And I want it to act like yours. And so like I was 20 years old and, raising corgi puppies and Jack Russell puppies or whatever I picked up for somebody at the horse show. And it was more, again, environmentals and basic obedience and those types of things. So when I moved to DC and got out of the Navy, I was, again, just mostly working my own. And then when we actually came back to Michigan, I got into training service dogs. And so that's where, I learned how to, people would say, let's train them to do this, or we need to mitigate this problem, and having to figure out, okay, so if they need to alert to a medical condition and go get medication and do this, how do you train all that? And it was extremely fascinating. And I had been kind of raised old retriever style, but the trainer I worked with in Michigan, he was very knee po and, e-collar and low level conditioning. And so I learned those methods. But the main thing I learned was how to train good environmentals, like service dogs. Those dogs, legit service dogs have to be bomb proof, and getting to see what they put the puppies through. And then genetically, the Labradors they raise, for the big service dog programs, they're genetically different than any other Labrador retriever. And the way they look at the bloodlines and the way they really try to focus on different characteristics, that was really fascinating to me. And then after that, kind of getting into more of the working dog side of things, I got into Canicross, and then I got my first Malinois, and then I got into wilderness search and rescue because I'd taken some tracking and trailing classes, and I really liked that. And
just snowballed.
Yeah, it was just how do you train a dog to do this? And then on the backside, working for Department of Homeland Security and working some of the large scale events and different things from an intel threat perspective. I wanted to actually do something more operational. I wanted to be part of it, and I don't have the skills in anything else.
So did your job require you to work with dogs, like your DHS job?
No, dogs were an asset. So for example, the Chicago Marathon, Indy 500, state and local would come to the Department of Homeland Security and say, for this event, we think we need, this many explosive detection dogs. Like, that was the closest I got to dogs, was advocating and making sure that we supported the event from the department's perspective with the assets the state and locals needed, whether it be Homeland Security investigation dogs or DEA dogs or whatever it was. But there was no touching the dogs. There was no being part of it. It was just understanding
the need for the asset,
resources and planning, but more working with state and locals and the grant part and incident command and just how all of that worked. And I was really fascinated by the actual operational side, not just kind of sitting in a room planning it all and then running it. It was just.
So from your first, it was 4-H, you said, right? That's like a kids program, right?
Correct. I was 9.
So from that training to the, so you went from the 4-H obedience, right? And then you did a little bit of
wilderness, right?
No, that was
I did service dogs first, and then wilderness.
So from the 4-H to the service dogs, what was the difference in training? What did you learn? What was different? How did you progress yourself?
What evolved?
And just in that time?
So, with the Labrador retrievers and what we were doing with even 4-H or just AKC obedience and canine good citizen stuff, it was just very sit down, stay, heel.
Rudimental.
You didn't want to screw up the dog for hunting, but you wanted the dog to really show that it could get titles in something else, that it could be handled by anybody.
More well-rounded.
Yeah, you could put it in a ring with a bunch of other intact male dogs. It was just a different way of showing a bloodline stability, realistically. And then with the service dogs, like I said, it was more, figuring out how to train something. Teaching a dog to pick up an object is very similar to retrieving, but teaching a dog to respond to a chemical level in your bloodstream changing and then doing multiple tasks, or even, telling the dog, I'm choking, go get me water out of the refrigerator, and making sure they're picking water over soda, over beer, and closing the refrigerator and bringing it to you, just having to figure out that whole chain and back chain it and how you train. That's where I learned how to do marker training and use a clicker, because old school retrievers, we didn't do any of that, right? It was leash pop, or I don't even remember
more
if
abrasive.
I don't even know if we used treats. It was e-collars were only for correction, and then they were starting to get into some of the stuff, but I was at the age it wasn't really part of my life until I had to learn about different styles of training, and what would work better, and being able to figure out. So, for example, with a service dog, you may have a handler that they can't use an e-collar, or maybe will never feel comfortable with it, or and starting to really think about selecting the dog for them and their lifestyle, and then training the dog in a way that can be replicated, because it doesn't matter how you train them if you hand them over to somebody who can't replicate it.
Makes sense.
Interesting.
So abrasive to fine tuning.
Yeah, and just learning that there were other methods, and that, there were methods in general, and that wasn't
this wasn't the only way. Yeah.
Did the service dog, whoever you worked with, did they have a kind of a set routine? And if that routine didn't work, they'd wash the dog, or did they look more at specifics of the specific dog, or did they have just a more general program to get the dogs through there?
So service dog training is a little more like USAR in the sense of there's ethical considerations with making a dog or putting a dog in a situation where somebody could get hurt, or the dog can get hurt, or the dog's just miserable. And so the program that I was in, they would try and figure out the dogs. But if a dog is dog reactive or human reactive, they were going to get washed
yeah.
because they had to be able to go in the public and they had to be able to do certain things. And so if at any point through the benchmarks, because just like USAR, right, there should be benchmarks to say, okay, it's normal if a dog's struggling. It's normal if maybe they have some challenges in one area. But if you're starting to see like 2, 3, 4 months and it's not improving, or if it's something that's critical, it'd be like if you had a dog that was like terrified of rubble. I don't think that's ethical to say, oh, you should be a USAR dog, right? Maybe if you like all the other elements, you should be wilderness, or, and even that's not so much true anymore, because we've seen like with Milton and Helene, even the wilderness dogs need to be able to go on debris piles and those types of things. So I feel like it's similar in some ways, but I think that they just have to they have to really look at, there's certain things that they just have to wash.
Specific to the dog.
Yeah.
And how they train them.
Yeah.
Makes sense. That's fun. That's a pretty significant amount of dog training for your entire, what is 4-H again?
It's like Girl Scouts, right?
I've heard it.
I apologize. I truly apologize. It's if I'm not mistaken, it's like the county fair group, like they show horses, and it's like, is it rural Girl Scouts?
I've never heard it described that way, but you're not wrong.
Okay.
So that's a good way. It's for, it's for anybody. Obviously, it's.
Oh, it's boys and girls.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's any. There's basically
Scouts.
if you're 9 to 18, you can do it. It is more of like a rural thing. It is something that in a lot of counties in the Midwest, it is like what you do. Mm-hmm. You can do all sorts of animals.
Yeah, you show like cows and goats.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that horses and dogs are unique in the sense of it's not just based on the fair. Whereas like if you're raising a pig for the fair, you take the pig, you show it, you sell it at the fair auction, that's it. Whereas dogs, it was like, yes, that was one dog show, but we went to many different shows, AKC competitions, like different things with that trainer, and it was just more a way for that trainer to kind of donate time and give back to young people.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you for clearing that up. I apologize. Mike and I have lived in Chicagoland our whole life.
We don't. I've heard of 4-H.
I've heard of it.
I don't know. I just county fair.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's,
Well, it's not wrong.
yeah.
It's really
Ribbons.
Ribbons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ribbons.
Yeah.
Yep. There are ribbons.
That's awesome.
So pretty, different background. One question I had is, when your family was breeding labs, did you ever get into field trial or competitions or anything like that? Or was he just kind of selling them to local hunters and the hunters would go out? Like, were you ever into retriever sports?
I was not, no.
Okay.
My dad got into it when I really got into horses and, went to college and then the Navy and all those things. So he did, I did not.
Okay.
Much to his dismay, I didn't even get into hunting the way I was supposed to.
Do they still breed dogs, or does he still hunt? Or
They do not breed,
run
but
labs?
like I raised a lab for him last year.
Oh, nice.
And, he's hunting with him. And
where did that lab come from?
So that lab came from the breeder in Kentucky that I got these last 2 puppies, Big Dream Retrievers or Big Dream Creek Retrievers. I'll have to get you the exact, but anyway, they had gotten him from another breeder. Like they got some puppies from a breeder I think he was in Wisconsin. And I saw this puppy with a pigeon, and he was like 6-8 weeks old, and watching that puppy with a pigeon, I had to have it. And I just thought he was
Perfect for your dad.
Yeah. And I wanted to train him.
Nice.
So it worked out.
And that's where you got the 2 yellows that you're starting right now?
Yeah.
Well, that's a great transition, because I kind of want to really talk about you starting dogs, because there's not a lot of, for USAR, there's not a lot of people starting dogs, right? Like, or getting even like
Jumping on that grenade. Yep.
Yeah. You know, so, I mean, SDF has their program and Ground Zero has their program. And I think there's someone else down in like Alabama area. And then Maranatha, obviously. So you're kind of jumping into this new world post-retirement, finding somewhat of a pseudo-retirement, right? Yeah, it might be busier than when you were working with DHS, but we know you got a dog from Jen and then 2 from Big Dream Creek. How are you kind of like what are you doing? How's your business model? Like, are you looking for clients? Are you putting them out on Facebook? Like, how are you advertising that Macy's starting dogs now? And
Hopefully you just jumped into it, never thought about anything else. Because that ends up the best.
Like a full send.
Yeah.
So kind of, I jumped in because when I was looking for a dog, it was so hard. I washed so many.
Oh, Penn Vet. Sorry, they're also doing.
Yep, Penn Vet, and where our team is located, like we get a lot of people like coming out with their dogs they've gotten from wherever, and you know we hear all the challenges, and you know I loved my experience with Maranatha through Jen, and I have a lot of teammates that had fantastic dogs from there, and I really loved what June was doing, and what I saw was that it is really, really hard to find a dog that is good at USAR and is good at being a family dog and good in the fire station and can do all the things. And, you know, can literally go some of the places we take our dogs when we're staging for deployment and like just settle. And yet, you know, be a rock star on the search. And so I just wanted to try it. So to answer your question, I'm not advertising. I'm feeling this out. I can tell you, like, in talking with everyone who has done it, and even the summer, I'm never going to make money at it. I'm gonna continue to train pet dogs on the side to pay for this, because this is my passion, right? Like, it's how I'm going to give back. But it's just not, like, by the time you pay for the puppy and you pay for its health insurance and you pay for its vaccines, like, just that you're over half, if not 3/4 the cost of a started dog. And then you add 12 months of labor and, so,
all the mornings of dogs before coffee.
Yeah.
Like it's just not, but that's not, why I want to do it. But I also don't know. I don't know how many I could do. I don't know, it's kind of like I need to see how the dogs do. And then selfishly, I really like Jen's dogs. She doesn't have that many puppies every year.
Yeah.
And if you hear this, Jen, you need to have more.
Jen wants more puppies.
Yeah. But so I need a good steady supply, and I need helpers, because here's the other thing. It is so hard to train puppies without good hiders, and you can't, like,
it takes a whole army.
June used to get some really, really good young kids that would come in, and the kids I find, like, the dog accidentally bites them and they're going to, like, squeal and run.
You have a 17-year-old at home. I mean,
and
like,
he will tell you he's 6'5" and he does not fit in a barrel, and I cram him in a barrel.
Think small, bud.
And so trust me, he's why I have the puppies that I have, as well as having a fantastic team and a lot of teammates that are willing to help. But, like, there's just a lot of unanswered questions of how I'm going to be able to do it before.
So no business plan, just jump right in,
right now.
In the deep end.
I love it.
That's the best way to do it.
So raising your puppies, like, do you have, like, what are kind of like your methods, right? Like, 8 weeks, pick up the dog. Are you conditioning a clicker right away? Are you, keeping them in the cradle, crate training, or
Crate,
what?
pen.
Yeah, pen. What does starting a dog or a puppy specifically look like for you? Because I know how like our team does it on Illinois. We're very clicker oriented, very, very early. We're very keep them in the crate.
Bring them out to work, bring them out to do things.
Tons of field trips and environmentals and stuff like that. And we're starting with good dogs, right? But I just want to know, like, what is your kind of method for that you might have used for Indian Frenzy and what you're doing that?
And service dogs.
Yeah.
So I think the service dogs have impacted what I like to do with puppies because I think that, like, you can get a really good drivey dog and you can get a really environmentally stable dog, but it seems to be really hard to find both and then have them like rubble, right? So when I get the puppies, yes, I want them good in a crate. I drag them everywhere, to all the different training sites. So they know how to go in a vehicle. They know how to go in a crate. But we do things like drag suitcases around the block so that they're good with roller bags, tying them to the roller bag and practicing doing stuff so that they know to settle. I like them to settle everywhere. We go to the airport and we practice hanging out in the airport and settling at the airport just so that like they have that. Now on the side, I do clicker train all my puppies because I think I was explaining to you with yours, I don't know what their handlers what methods their handlers are going to use, what they're going to feel comfortable with. So my job is to create a puppy that is ready to learn and has all the solid skills to be able to thrive in whatever USAR environment it's going to be in. So the clicker is loaded. I like a verbal marker, coming from whether it be, service dogs or in the military, it was like, you're not always going to remember your clicker. Like and there's a lot of people that just aren't comfortable using it or whatever. So I really like to start a puppy with a clicker, make sure it's loaded, but quickly transfer to both a clicker and a verbal marker, yes. And then most people will always, they can use yes and the puppy has that association. But what I really, really like is play-based training. And I became obsessed with it, and that's how I got one of Ivan's puppies. Is the training without conflict, and you can train them so fast, whether it be the obedience, whatever, because of that relationship with you. That's where I got like the off leash piece and really letting the dog be confident. You just don't deal with like the reactivity and that's why Indy was done so fast. I mean, he just. Like that dog will downstay all day because we have that relationship, but he really wants, he wants the toy and but more importantly, he wants to play with me with that toy.
Did you go through his whole program?
I went through all his videos and I got a lot of support from him and his team with the puppy. But no, that's like future goals.
Yeah.
When I have the time, I would love to go because it's been night and day. Like what I've learned on how to like play with puppies, play with dogs, like Frenzy, really, really understanding her reward style. Her reward style and what she values and how she wants to be played with, and just how to utilize that. And so again, my puppies come with, solid play styles, solid environmentals, and like I said, the clicker's loaded. But they also, we swim. They're in the Rappahannock all the time. They're fit, they're healthy.
When you're going on those walks, are you doing that, or the no lead hiking? Are you doing that kind of early on, or?
Correct.
And that no recall built in, or is that just you're just hoping they come back to you, or?
No, and that can be Robbie knows some stories on that as well. No, I teach a recall with the puppy very quickly. I mean, the part of like the loading the clicker and making sure. I mean, I don't like a ton of obedience on a puppy right away, but the recall is important. From the beginning, they learn that as a pack, we go together. And when they come back and check in with me, I pay with string cheese. It's super easy,
solid,
high value.
High value.
And it's cheap. Like you can pack a ton in your pockets. And so all my dogs, they
It's
know.
all warm and sticky in the summer.
Actually, it's not too bad. It doesn't. Who knows what chemicals are in it, but it's not bad. But basically, they learn. I'm not going to take them out there if I can't trust them. Obviously,
Right.
I don't want them. If I'm concerned about it, they're in a GPS collar.
Yeah.
And
Did you start e-collar too, or?
I start e-collar when they're older, and it kind of depends on the puppy. Again, I was raised with knee popo, and so a lot of times I'll put some of that on the puppy, especially if I know I have somebody interested in it that's probably going to use it. I have other people that they're never going to touch an e-collar. They're just not there yet with their handling skills, or maybe whatever. And so I may not, or I'll wait. Usually I'll at least do a recall,
Yeah.
just because I need it for when I'm taking them hiking.
Yep.
And I want to make sure that they will definitely come back. But I do prefer kind of Ivan's method on that as well. And so, it's more, their recalls are pretty solid because they want to play with me.
That's awesome. Any difference between starting an HR or a live find dog?
So if I could just start HR, I probably would, because I can do it all by myself at the early stages,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like you don't need to cram your son in a barrel. You know what I mean? or
Keep him alive, hopefully. Yeah.
Beg your teammates to get in a barrel over and over and again in the July sun. HR is you have a clicker, you have source, and you can train that. So I probably train it a little earlier. Whereas with the live find, it's mostly we're teaching play, and
Yeah.
we're teaching toy drive,
Engagement,
and then hunt games. Whereas the HR, I'll start them on odor sooner.
Awesome. Sounds like a pretty robust program you got for your first couple puppies. So how many puppies have you actually raised, not counting jumping into the deep end recently? But
9. 9, like since 2020 and 2021, kind of with SAR in mind. And then prior to that, like I said, I'd raise, corgis or whatever, Jack Russells or whatever people, more kind of like a horse show dog. But for this, 9.
nice.
9 dogs. Wow. So was Frenzy your first USAR candidate?
No,
Okay.
no, that's where the 9 comes from.
That's where the 9. Okay. All right.
Yes,
So you've washed dogs.
I've washed so many dogs.
Okay. Let's talk about that.
For you or for programs or?
So for me, obviously, like service dog programs and stuff, I've been part of washing dogs,
Yep.
or hunting or whatever. But for me and for USAR, I washed 9 dogs to get to Frenzy.
Wow.
So what does that look like?
Well,
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just curious, like what, so we're very specific when we purchase our dogs, right? We have candidates come out, that are other firefighters in the area. The whole team's all firefighters, and we make them first. We wash people first, right? Like no, you're not a fit, blah, blah, blah. But then our big thing is helping find you a dog, right? So that's why we haven't had to wash a lot of dogs. And we're starting with was it a behavior? Was it the footing? And how far in kind of, obviously you don't have to go through all 9. We're just kind of curious about the, well,
The
that's
big
also
ones.
emotionally too, right? Like it's not easy. But it's usually a responsible, well thought out decision. But we're just kind of looking, what did that look like and why?
so first off, like if I had it to do over and what I've learned, I probably wouldn't have had to wash at least half of them. Like
You could have worked through a lot of those problems.
I could have worked through a lot of those problems. And then the others I wouldn't have gotten in the first place, because now I was looking for different traits than I am now. There's different things I value. There's different things that I know my strengths. I know my weaknesses. I know the support I'm going to get from my team and like how to work through things that I didn't at the time. But what hasn't changed is I don't think it's ethical to make a dog, career revolve around rubble who hates doing rubble. And it doesn't mean that dogs can't, get more comfortable on rubble. It doesn't mean that the first time you see them on rubble means how they're going to be on rubble for the rest of their life. But if repeatedly, and once they've got, good fast and slow twitch muscles and their coordination and all that's there and they're fit and they've been on rubble multiple times, even a week, and they still don't like it, I don't think it's ethical. So a lot of my dogs were washed from that. I was looking at a lot of types of dogs who they weren't purpose bred for search and rescue. They were purpose bred to go bite something or, single purpose, dual purpose maybe, but more, that they didn't enjoy the hunt.
Didn't have the genetics for it.
And they hunted to get the toy and they wanted the toy, but they didn't enjoy the hunt.
Didn't enjoy the work.
Yeah, or they wanted to hunt, didn't care about the toy, and they would rather hunt on their time, their way. And so really, really figuring out, how to, like, where's that line and what can be changed, what can't be changed, and what dogs want to do the job. So, I just... The other piece of it is, you get a dog to a certain point and you realize, okay, maybe it's not good for the vet. Well, that's when you have med specialists having to like grab your dog or hazmat people decon your dog. Like you need a dog that can be touched by anybody. You need a dog that can, be picked at, poked at, whatever, by random people all over the world. You need a dog that can ride quietly on a plane or a helicopter and be dumped in somewhere and get right to work and not be all stressed. And like, there was just things that I didn't know what that looked like the way I do now.
What was the longest you had a dog before you washed it?
9 months.
Decent chunk of time.
Yeah. But you're still washing relatively early then. If 9 months was the longest.
So again, and that's probably kind of my service dog background. There's certain things that we look for that, again, you start to see patterns, right? Like they could be in a fear period. They could be, it could just be their personality. They could need more reps. But if you have seen over 9 months the same behaviors, that's probably who the dog is.
Right. They ain't gonna change. 9 dogs, longest was 9 months.
On average. I haven't really sat down to think about it. Yeah.
Did those dogs go on to do anything else? Like work-wise, or did they go live on farms?
All the above. Some went to be single-purpose dogs. Some went to, my dad's dog is not an HR dog. He's hunting pheasants. I have dogs that went to be, kind of contract dogs along the border. Just trying to find what do they like, what do they not like, and
what's best for the dog.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's got to be what's best for the dog because it's their job. They need to be happy.
1,000%.
I want to be happy at work.
but also,
it's going to be a different podcast,
honestly,
a long one.
We owe our team. We owe our teammates. You think of, we're joking aside, all the work that our teammates put into helping us get a dog ready. You can't keep wasting their time either.
No, you're absolutely right. I think, Mike, you sent me a quote.
I'm going to find it.
Yeah, find that quote. It's super powerful when you look at it from an individual standpoint and perspective of, I'm asking all these people for years to come to give up their Saturday and invest emotionally and their time and their money to drive to training. And you have to do right by the team as well as the dog.
Exactly.
So the quote, I cannot remember what podcast it was or who said it, and I apologize if you listen to this. But when you bring a dog onto the team, you are not just making your own investment. You are asking the entire team to make an investment in your dog. So every person on the team is giving up their time, resources, experience, and expertise to help you.
and we do not want to invest in a dog that may have a 30% chance of making it. So we want a breeder to stack the deck for us. I wish I could remember what podcast and who said that, because I instantly sent it to Rami. I wrote it down instantly, and it hit us like, that's why we seek breeders who produce dogs with good genetics that will give us the, best chance of having a successful dog and not having to wash 9 dogs at the end of the day. And
also, like, the right dog for the right handler, right? Like,
exactly.
We have, so Mike's dog, Coda, we have 2 dogs from that breeder, Walking House.
Working House.
Okay.
Working House, yeah.
If you gave Mike's dog to the other handler on our team that has a dog from that breeder, it would not go over well, right? Mike's the coordinator, very, invested in training and theory, and the other handler,
not that good.
She's awesome. She's 2-year handler, really picked up on it. Is
just
invested,
different dogs, but
just different dogs.
Perfect dog for her.
She got the perfect dog. If she got Mike's, if she just, roll the dice, got Mike's dog, it just wouldn't have worked out well. Same, very, very close bloodlines, same breeder. But just because you're getting this dog, my dog, both these dogs, I have a teammate out in Indiana. She has a litter mate. She shouldn't have one of these dogs, right? She got the right dog that was from her out of the same litter even. So even going down to that specific of pairing the handler with the dog is, I think, truly important for success and the team success and the headaches and the learning process. So, we understand. We get it. We think it's super important.
Does your team as a whole, do they wash as many dogs as you have washed? Is that a Virginia thing, or is that a...
It's not a Virginia thing. We are very,
thorough.
Yes, we do have timelines that we stick to, and we do have a standard. Our dogs do need to be able to go internationally. That's unique to us in USA too. Our dogs need to kind of be able to find that really deeply buried person and not just, basic rubble searching. And so as a result, I think we probably are a little more selective than some.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're trying to find that balance as well, right? Because it's hard to recruit young people to come onto our team when they're just starting out their careers and, invest in them when it's so expensive to buy dogs and then take care of dogs. And then if you're washing dogs, and it's this cycle. And so we're trying to find that balance of, and again, that's why I'm kind of passionate about, like, if you are that new firefighter and you really want to get into canine, like, you should be able to get a dog that you at least have good odds and is going to be able to live with you in the firehouse, not bite your neighbor's kid, and your spouse can handle watching it while you're gone, and yet it will get on a plane and do what we need it to do.
And you've mentioned it a couple times, having dogs set up for the firehouse. Do you think that the USAR world should kind of look at fire departments as, to support having dogs in the firehouse and having, dogs on these USAR teams? Because again, the whole FEMA system is kind of very mixed with fire departments, civilians, and whatnot. What's your opinion on the whole thing?
So, I could...
And I don't know what Virginia does. I'm not sure. I know I believe it's a mix.
Yes, we're a mix. And I don't have strong feelings either way. It's just, I do think that when you deploy, whether it be a FEMA deployment or an international deployment, the people, the apparatus, like emergency response in general, whether they're at a fire station or not, the dog needs to be able to operate the same way.
Yeah.
Like, they've got to be comfortable around the same things, the same type of people, the same, horseplay occurring that occurs at the fire station, the long times in a crate, sometimes hours and hours of boredom, being quiet. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's still the same type of dog whether they're, handlers or firefighters, civilians.
Got it. Nice. So we talked a little bit about Ivan's program, and was that like a COVID video series that you watched? I know there's a lot of people that did those things.
I don't really know when I first got into it. It was probably a COVID thing. I have a tendency to, I will watch almost any dog training video I can watch, and I want to learn all the methods. Even if I don't agree with them, there's something I can learn from them.
Yeah.
And I feel like the more tools I can have in my toolbox, I'm going to run into a dog that needs something, or it needs whatever that method triggers in my brain to help me figure out that dog. So it was when I was watching all these dogs and trying to understand how to better connect with them, how to better control them, how to better build drive and just learn. And when you have somebody that's like a world champion, a national champion, over and over and over again, he clearly knows what he's doing. So I figured,
Why not?
but I listen to your podcast.
Yes.
Nice.
Nice.
I'm addicted to podcasts. I love Cameron Ford. I don't know. I got into a bunch of them, and yeah.
So what other training programs or classes would you say were pretty significant in your in your puppy raising program that you're developing?
So I took some courses on puppy clicker training, chicken camp, just basically learning timing. I took.
Which chicken camp did you?
I
Mike
did.
Subtle one, or?
Well, I did go to Mike's. I got a couple dogs from Mike, and so that led me to kind of learning how to use the clicker and stuff kind of early on. I did Craig Schultz and Sally Dickinson had a joint chicken camp and pay your dog. I took that because I wanted to, again, work on the timing, but also how to play and work on rewarding the dog. So I think that I really love all of Cameron Ford's detection training, taking all those classes, want to go to more of the in-person seminars. That's what I'm trying to kind of push myself now that I'm not working for the federal government, is to do the in-person things like the CFTE, full body trainings and different things, and actually, get off the computer and go in person.
Fabian just had Cameron here for a seminar.
Oh, very.
You missed it by a couple months.
Dang.
We should have gone.
We should have.
I have a detection dog now.
I didn't even know about it. Yeah.
Well, you have to bring him back.
Next year, yeah. So you're planning anything you're planning on attending, or anything you're signed up for?
As soon as they release the CFTE, I want to take all those. Getting my HRD dog on as many full bodies as possible is my primary focus, and then last year, getting the puppies on the full bodies, the HRD puppies, not the live fine, but the HRD puppies on full bodies. I think that's really important to their education. And then I'm basically going to kind of plan everything else around it. Like I said, I would like to do Ivan's. I would love to go out and do a Stratus canine with Cameron, at his school, Michael Ellis. There's so many. It's just money and time.
Money and time. Yeah.
Money and time. You can do anything with money.
Yeah. Right.
Have you, you've had a busy year traveling. Any favorite piles you've been to? Could you name
Can't
one?
say yours.
Can't say yours. Unfortunately, we couldn't get you on ours today because
It
of
was covered in
10
snow.
inches.
10 inches of snow.
Yeah.
But
I have to come back.
absolutely.
I love Colorado. I really did love the Cal 3 pile. And I know they just redid their one pile out in Cal 3, and they're about to redo their other. But I liked their old pile. It was really cool. I love the Pasco County pile. I have a hard time picking. There's some piles I can tell you I didn't like as well. They weren't as challenging, but I have a hard time picking a favorite.
So traveling in general, get out there, get your dog to different places.
I got frenzied to 7 piles before we tested, and she tested young. I highly like, yeah, it can be hard. I know it's hard to get travel letters on a non-certified dog. So I get those challenges, but, you know, time and money, use what you have and get to at least all the piles you can drive to.
Great advice. Great advice. So time and money, you're going to take some classes, in-person stuff, keep raising some puppies, the ones that you have left, the one that you didn't drop off today. Anything else you're pursuing? Personally, professionally?
You know, not so much. I'm starting an explosive detection puppy. And so I want to learn all things that, you know, I just really want to understand odor. I want to understand, I think there's a lot, like, I feel like in USAR, we tend to use a lot of old methods and not really investigate where some of the new things in detection can help us. And not even just detection, right? Like all different things. And so I really want to understand the nuances, but also what those other disciplines are learning that maybe we can bring back to wash less dogs, to make our dogs stronger, to make our handlers better.
It's great. Pick a little bit from everything that you see in here and apply it to your program. Fantastic. So you've been with Virginia for a few years. Since 2020, 2022?
2021, I guess it would be.
And you got on
October 2021.
And then you certified with another dog, and then you certified Frenzy.
Yeah, I certified with the other dog. My first certification was in April of 2022. And then Frenzy, it will be 3 years in 2026.
Nice. So Virginia, a few deployments, both nationally and internationally. You want to talk about any of those? Anything specific that kind of changed how you're prepping dogs now that you saw in the field that you can work on, you know, with the puppies, or anything specific on any of the deployments you want to talk about?
I mean, it's kind of what I've covered. Environmentals are so important. It's great if you have a rock star search dog, but if the dog arrives to the search so stressed out and exhausted that it can't work, or if it bites somebody so it gets, you know, washed before it can work, why bother? And so it doesn't mean that the work isn't important. We all know that you know, the search is critical, the rubble skills are critical, but I learned from both Hurricane Milton and Helene and my recent deployment to Jamaica just how important environmentals are. When you get off the plane and you're surrounded by like local paparazzi in your dog's face, you just, you know, you're just grateful when you have a dog that's like, okay,
yeah,
you know, and you're going, man, I'm really glad that my dog's good with this or whatever, or, you know, riding a helicopter and your dog is like totally relaxed, and then when it lands, they're ready to go instead of sick or nervous or those things. So I guess my lesson learned is that you really, really need environmental stability.
Yeah. Any other lessons besides the environmentals from your deployment experience?
I think the one thing I've learned overall is like I came into it really thinking, you know, the most exciting deployment is about getting to work your dog. Like that's what we all want, right? But what I've learned is just the value in being like our chief likes to say, we're supposed to be the Swiss Army knife, that whatever tool is needed in that disaster, that's what we are and that's what we can be. And the difference we've been able to make as a team when we go out in deployment, doing some of the non-traditional roles, and whether it be humanitarian efforts or, you know, clearing roads or whatever is needed, just the impact that we've been able to have on the people, that's what matters. And I guess it just hammered home why we do it. We don't do it to go work first. The dogs. Yeah, we do it to help people on the worst day of their life and to be what they need us to be that day. It's not about working our dog. And it feels, you know, like that's what we're supposed to do.
I love that.
I think it's super mature. I think in one of the other episodes I talked about it.
One of the three.
We've had a lot. It's called a streak. But no, so like I said, on Illinois, we're all firefighters. But specifically for canine, I think 5 or 6 of us are all technical rescue certified. So we're collapse, we're rope, we're trench, confined space. I do swift water as well. And, you know, we've been on OREs where it was 102 degrees out. We ran the dogs, you know, we put the victim, and like these guys are getting like just beat up on a hammer drill on a breach or something. We're like, hey man, go get water. I got it. Like, I'll hop on. Like, I'm doing nothing. I can do whatever. So being able to, like, you know, slip into those other function groups, and not just, you know, obviously we're here to help people first and foremost when we're, you know, in theater, but being able to like have a rescue guy look at you and be like, oh yeah, no, those dudes on canine, because there is a stigma with canine, being able to be like, no, they're good, right? Especially, I mean, both Mike and I teach rope. Mike's teaches at a higher level, but like, be like, no, Mike can do the high line or whatever it may be. And just being that Swiss Army knife and being able to integrate well with whoever it is, rescue, search. You know, we know our search team managers very, very well, but, you know, coming from DHS and then civilian side, your chief wants to put you in a position to be that Swiss Army knife for humanitarian, clearing roads, using a chainsaw, putting up tarps, whatever it may be. And I think sometimes we lose focus of that.
Exactly.
So it's nice to hear other teams, other handlers, kind of have the same mentality.
Same mindset.
Yeah,
mindset's so important with what we do.
Absolutely.
And keeping it mission focused and being that Swiss Army knife.
Mission first.
Yep.
That's right. So you've done a bunch in canine. What has evolved since you started? Good, bad, indifferent, ugly?
I mean, on the USAR side, I don't think I've been around long enough to say things have drastically changed. You know, at least not from my perspective. I feel like it's pretty consistent. I think, you know, the challenges are still the challenges. They might just look a little different, like finding dogs or whatever. Super challenge
for everybody.
Yeah.
It is.
You're not alone. So wrapping up, getting to the end here, what advice would you give yourself if you were just getting into the USAR world with canine?
I think it goes back to the you know, washing so many dogs. I would tell myself that, you know, the environmentals are super important, you know, kind of like that lesson, but also like the value of play, the value in going out and getting some external help.
Yes.
Love
that.
You're not going to find anybody who knows all the different things about training a USAR dog perfectly that's not already in USAR. But you're going to find somebody that can help your particular problem and can be like the best at that, or at least really good at that. And I think we're so, you know, that person or that technique, like that's not about USAR, that's not about what we do or SAR or whatever. And you need to be a good handler. You need to be a good dog trainer. And you can learn that from something else, but like just kind of, I don't know, don't be afraid to go out there and learn the best way to train dogs in every situation and get some new tools in your toolbox.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's great. It's a great way to get towards the end here. You mentioned earlier mentors in your journey here. Anything you want to say about your mentors coming up? You know, how they shaped you as a trainer, and what they've done to help you?
So, I mean, my entire team, I think they have like pushed me, lifted me, like I've been extremely supported. I am so grateful for Frenzy. I mean, if it weren't for that dog, I don't think I'd still be doing USAR, just because it was so heartbreaking and frustrating watching so many dogs. So, Teresa McPherson, you know, if you've been around a while, like she was retiring right as I was coming on, but you know, she put me in contact with Jen Brown, Jen Massey. She's on my team. Same thing. She's like vouched for me, help me get Frenzy. Jen, obviously, from the time I started stalking her about Frenzy, but my entire team, there isn't a single one of them that hasn't given me like their very best and helped me get my dogs where I am. And beyond that, we have a super tight region. The Maryland 1, Virginia 2, New York, New Jersey, even Pennsylvania. Like there's so many handlers there that have been there for me. And we used to have like weekly regional get-togethers where we'd all help each other. And so I don't think there's like a single person. There's just, it really takes a village.
Whole tribe.
Whole village.
Yeah. We have some great people in USAR.
Awesome. Cool.
Anything else you want to add?
Just thank you and take good care of my boy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, Macy, thanks for coming up to Chicago and braving the first massive winter storm of the season. Thank you for starting Maverick / Gozer.
Just keep it Maverick, dude.
It's
just keep it Maverick.
It's going to be Gozer. But no, thank you for coming up. Thank you for volunteering your time to be on the podcast. We really appreciate it. Mike, anything you got? Anything else you got?
No, thanks for coming up. Again, much appreciated.
Pleasure to meet you.
Loved meeting you. Loved hearing your background and your come up in the dog world. It was awesome to hear.
Back at you both. It was fantastic meeting all three of you.
Awesome. Well, hey, that does it for another episode of the Disaster Dog Podcast. Third one. If you want to support the show, like, rate, share, subscribe. You can find us on Instagram at disaster_dog_podcast, disasterdogpodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook. Add us as a friend. Mike Vitale, Ramiel Sharif. That does it. Thank you.
That's it. Thank you. Thanks, Dog Tribe. Thanks, Fabian.
Whoop.